I believe they've started readying up, so that is the 30-second countdown will have begun. And we will wait until we get the 5 red lights. And here we are on the grid. Aston Martin lined up on pole position, the Williams next to it. 5 red lights, and away we go here in Australia. Someone at the back didn't get off to a particularly great start. And McLaren's already all the way off across on the grass on the inside. Why is everybody ghosted? Is that a bug for me? I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. So I presume that on their screens they are not ghosted. But Blitz Hyper has... Nobody's not taking the lead. The timing tower is tricking me like it was in real F1. Invictus stretching away, already broken a couple of car lengths clear. TXT could be shaping a move on Blitz Hyper. And Leon potentially going to go for a move here. Yeah, now the cars are unghosted, so I think it was just a problem on my end. And apologies for that confusion. Got now the top 5 starting to put a little bit of a gap to Matteo, but still comfortably within the DRS. No one's dropped outside of the second range on this opening lap. Further back, don't think there's been any great change. We'll have a look at position change. Couple of swaps around, Leon clearing Kelston early on in the first lap. I think we caught that one. Ice One's had a mega start up 3 places, and Blue Dragon, we saw him on the grass into turn 1, and that significantly cost him 5 places, down from 6th into 11th now. What is going on with this timing tower? Apologies for the technical difficulties there, but I'll call it as I see it. Blitz Hyper is very close to backing Invictus. Could probably see a swap around here for the race lead with DRS. Got a lot of battery as well. Back-to-back DRS zones here with the chicane in the middle. Good exit as well. Open up DRS right here, crossing that line. And will we see our first change for the lead of this Australian Grand Prix? And I assure you it will not be the last. And it won't be the first either, because Blitz Hyper goes straight into the back of Invictus. Bit of contact, caught out by the braking point. And that has put TXT around the outside. Can maybe swap it to the inside? Thinks better of it, doesn't want to lose touch with the leader of the race. And we'll have a look. All of the top 7 on the mediums. Only Dr. Jekyll, Dr. Braden, Wolf and Reese Max on the hards. And they're really gambling on a late safety car here. But never say never. Top 5 continue on as they were. Kelston did get back past Leon at some point there. And he's got quite good pace, it would appear, because he's immediately onto the back of TXT. Kelston seems to have a lot of grip. He was downplaying it in the chat a minute ago, saying he'd struggled to keep with the top 3. It does not seem that way now. Lost the pace in the opening lap, but he's more than made up for it. Trying to get through now. Big old slide for the Haas and the V-carb through that turn 7, I believe that is. Turn 8. Now DRS open. Williams still not going to be close enough. TXT could be shaping for a move. Thinks better of it, probably very wisely. Kelston almost went around the outside of turn 9 and 10. That would have been very bold to be doing this early on in the race. We've still just about got the whole field within the DRS train. Down to Punisher in 12th place. Blake O'Ryan has lost quite a lot of time, 4 seconds back. So really anyone 13th downwards without a safety car won't be getting beyond that 13th place. But still a very solid long train. Dr. Jekyll and Reese Max have already picked up track limits penalties. That's just how tricky it is around here. Turn 1, a prime place. Prime example of that. And now Blitz Hyper finally decides he's going to go for the lead. TXT going to look to the inside, Kelston to the outside. Oh, and Blitz has gone to the miles off into the gravel. Completely missed the braking point and will drop all the way down the order. Blitz Hyper momentarily took the lead. Now finds himself 7th place and under attack from Dr. Jekyll. Cannot afford to lose place to the Alpine because they are on the hard tyres. the drivers in the top 6 have inherited an extra position there. Jekyll couldn't get the move done, now finds himself being attacked by Ice Swan. Blue Dragon and Daniel almost side by side there. They filter back into line. Jekyll's now lost the DRS. He's not got much battery. And we've got change for the lead. TXT goes through. Finally we get a lead change on lap 4 here in Australia. And TXT straight into the wall. The lead of this race is cursed. The Williams driver of Blitz Hyper took the lead, went off deep. TXT took the lead, spins round into the barrier. I think they've avoided front wing damage, but that is a really unfortunate mistake to be making. Somehow we've still got an intact train. TXT sitting right on the edge of the 1 second and gets a track limits penalty. That is a nightmare. Lap 4, start of lap 5, TXT took the lead straight off. Kelson, however, I said he was making good progress. The others have fallen off the road in front of him, and through to the lead he goes. Got a little bit of a breakaway for the front 3, but it's only 7 tenths, so Speedy B will still have the DRS. Leon is all over the back of Invictus here. And this is clearly turning out that it's a race of attrition. Just try and avoid those mistakes, and critically try and avoid those time penalties. Taking it very easy there, Leon into the chicane, doesn't want to get anywhere near the back of the Aston Martin. He knows he doesn't need to be making moves now. Invictus does fancy a go, no he doesn't, thinks better of it. Kelston with a big old rear lock-up. Big slide on the entry, keeps it together though. Matteo goes through on Speedy B, who switches back to the outside and sticks it through the penultimate corner. And we have now got a break in the train. Daniel and Punisher have battled too hard. Dropped out now by 2.1 seconds, and that's a big margin to try and overcome around a track with 4 DRS zones. Dr. Jekyll going to be very interested to see how his hard tyres kick into gear in, I reckon, probably about a lap or two's time. He's going to lose a lot of time on the undercut, so he really needs to make up some track position as soon as those tyres start working. So even just from being in the train, he's probably a good 3 seconds off of the race leader. It's going to be hard to make places at the end, as somebody's gone off at the back. BT, I believe that is, went round into the wall. Have a look, see if he's got any front wing damage. Nope, just had a little moment. Dropped out the train, but he's back going. He'll jump back to the front of the field. Kelston stretched away by well over 7 tenths there. Good effort at breaking out the DRS. And Jackal went past Matteo and was almost costing DRS, and TXT was on the grass. Very deep there, having broken on that grass. Ice One looked fit but couldn't do anything. As I believe the other Red Bull's just gone off. Yeah, Lake Orion has gone off through the turn 9-10 chicane. Very lucky to survive that one. That is a corner where you normally, if you go off, you're going hard into the barriers. But Ryan stays within the points in 14th place, points down to 15th, and will be able to carry on. And look at that, Blue Dragon down 11 places. I said it was a bad first lap, and clearly there's been another incident since. Way down the order, and he's out of any kind of DRS train. He desperately needs a safety car. He's even through the pit lane, in fact, potentially. He has, that's why he's so far down. Come off the mediums onto the hards. I wonder if he picked up some front wing damage. But now Invictus has used those 4 DRS zones to get all the way back to Kelston. Now just 4 tenths the gap, and Dr. Jekyll finally has lost the DRS, so this time his teammate Speedy B. Matteo and TXT going side by side into 9 and 10. The ride on board with the Haas goes comfortably through on the inside line. Nice flick back to Ice One's POV. Little bit of a squeeze there, and the Mercedes is round. Matteo, I believe at one point he was a championship leader, now finds himself in 11th place. I just saw something on the laptop, it was about to turn itself off. And Daniel goes to an Ice One, and they have lost the train. Ice One, oh, he got caught up with that Mateo incident, didn't he? Had to go wide, and that is why they have lost the DRS. Possibly a bit too much of a squeeze from TXT if I had to give my opinion, but that's definitely one for the stewards to have a look at. Oh wait, I am the stewards. So I'm assuming that will be an incident that will be reported. And look at that, top two have broken away here. Basic Beetle and Blitz Hyper couldn't live up with the pace of Kelson and Invictus. Kelson thought he'd be the one struggling to keep up. In fact, he's dragged Invictus away. Blue Dragon, after pitting early, breaking his front wing, has retired in the pit lane. McLaren will go no further in this race. One of them didn't turn up and the other one is out. Leon had a good kind of corner there. He closed the gap down to 1.2. If the front two battle, he'll get back in. If the front two work together, they could run away with this race. Here, they are not running away. He's lost another 10th there. Victor Kelston. Victor now could look to the inside, thinks better of it. He's recharged a lot of battery relative to Kelston. TXT is probably the closest person to making an overtake. We go down the inside potentially here through the through the end of the first sector. Invictus did take the lead there into this very same third corner of the racetrack. Kelston had to cede the lead because not having the DRS, but I would assume he's going to go straight back past here. 70% battery for Invictus, pretty much the same for Kelston. Kelston is in the front as the Haas of Keegan recharging the pit lane. I believe he was the one that served the qualifying ban, so starting from the back was always going to be rough around a track like this, and decides it is a race over for him. TXT goes back through on Jekyll, a big old slide they've hit. Somehow they get away with that. I have not got a clue how they get away there. Neither of them pick up damage. They're still side by side. The Alpine's half spun, the TXT's gone way out wide. They're losing heaps of time, battling and battling away. Absolutely no love lost between the Alpine and the Haas. And they now find themselves 3 seconds back from that front 5. Oh wow, Kelston's pulled over a second, broken the DRS on his own. Blitz is almost back in with Invictus. Kelston picked up a track limits penalty through turn 1. Kelston's absolutely flying here. I don't know if his setup is different or what it is, but he has incredible pace. I picked up on it very early, but he's really demonstrated it now, and he has maintained the 1 second gap. He is out of the DRS range and free to run. And by the fact Blitz doesn't have it, he can't even work with Invictus. Kelston could be in a very, very good position here. Leon almost missed out. He's got no battery left. Speedy B looks to the outside of him. Decides better of it. Hadn't got the run even with the slipstream. And yeah, very good point there from Bojangles in the chat. 3 second penalty, but I think most people are going to get a 3 second penalty. And the rate Kelston's going, he might get a 3 second gap. So as long as he's not picking up more of those track limits penalties, like TXT's just done, being the first one to reach 6 seconds. But as long as he doesn't keep picking up more, he could be in a very nice position here, Kelston. Blitz Hyper, I believe, made a mistake in the final quarter because he's within Invictus' DRS, and now he's very much not. Closed up down that front straight. Leon goes way out wide, bit of oversteer as well. Really not helped him trying to work together with the Williams. And I would expect to see people coming into the pit lane within the next few laps. Have a look at that penalty situation. TXT and Dr. Jekyll are the ones with 6 second penalties in the top 10. Others, Kelston, Blitz, Leon, Mateo, BT, all with 3 seconds. But now, Blitz Hyper's still going to be too far back to DRS show with Invictus. Kelston gets another lap through that mighty Sector 3. He pulls a good, probably 3 or 4 tenths in the slow speed corners. Oh, and Leon's way off into the wall. He's backwards in the barrier. Whether he got unsettled on the curb, but finds himself dropping all the way down to 8th place. Could be potentially 10th place if Ice One gets close here. No, just about holds on to 8th position, but that is devastating stuff from 3rd place all the way down the order he falls. Oh, and Kelston's gone off. No? Yeah, Kelston's gone off. I don't know what's gone on there with Kelston. It's a VSC. We've had utter chaos in the matter of corners. Has Kelston got a front wing change? No. I don't know what's happened there, but the curse of the commentator has struck. Maybe he had to tell him. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. But he's lost multiple seconds to Invictus and Blitz Hyper. And a VSC has been called. Aston Army picked up a drive-through penalty for speeding under that VSC, which has now ended. And Jekyll and Daniel, who didn't manage to pit, unless there's a safety car, they're going to be well out of this. I believe they both started on the hard top. No, Danny was on the medium and chose to stay out, as did Braden. But anyone who didn't pit there is going to lose another 10 seconds because of the fact that the others stopped under a VSC. Kelston now finds himself 3 seconds out of the train, and that is huge in the context of this race. He looked like he had it so under control. That is one moment, saw it from Leon a matter of corners before. One lapse of concentration can change the course of your race entirely. Leon recovers back past Matteo and he goes off through the gravel again in turn 9. He's got so much oversteering that kicks Alba car. Ice One picks up his first time penalty. We are now left with only 5 drivers who do not have a 3-second penalty or more. And now we have potentially a 2-car battle for the lead of Invictus and Blitz Hyper. Once Dr. Jekyll and Daniel come into the pit lane, they'll be 1 and 2 by about 3.5 seconds. And there's Invictus looking to extend his championship lead. Blitz Hyper currently sits on only 10 points, having, I believe, done 1 race. And were he to win this one, another 25 points and move him all the way up into 8th place in the standings. But there is a lot of racing laps to go here, 16 laps remaining. We've seen how chaotic these first 13 have been. If that's anything to go by, this is not over yet. See Daniel going for the lead of the race on the road. Won't be by the time they pit, but wanted to say he had led a lap, but cannot stick the move down the inside of turn 11. No, not still opting to stay out. Comes into the pit lane finally, the Ferrari driver off the medium tyre. Invictus did get past in the DRS straight by Blitz Hyper, but will now probably go by either into turn 1 or turn 3. Looking for it in turn 1. Down the inside he goes. Stays within the track limits, and that is a clean move from the Aston Martin driver. One of the few people in that front kind of area to not have a penalty. Speedy B is the other one that's realistically within striking range of the leader that hasn't got the time penalty. And Kelston, now that these front 2 are leading and working together, not quite able to match the pace because he doesn't have the DRS benefit down every other straight. Braden on those very old hard tyres, trying to get out the way potentially of Speedy B and TXT. Right on board with Speedy B. They're going side by side in front of him. Still going at it. The Ferrari driver is not conceding. He's hung it around the outside. And fair play from a racing point of view, but it's probably not the smartest decision. He's now going to defend quite hard from TXT. Speedy B goes into the back of the Ferrari with Braden. A little bit of a swipe there on the straight. I think that was just a bit of miscommunication between the 2 drivers. And finally that trio clears the Ferrari. He still goes on for another lap because he can't pit yet because the medium tyres won't do 15 laps. Back up towards the front. Blitz Hyper now 3 seconds off of the on the road lead of Dr. Jekyll, so he could potentially overtake before he even pits here. Jekyll picks up another penalty, first person to go on to 9 seconds. This race is just going from bad to worse for the Alpine. Alpine have got one driver up the sharp end, with Speedy B going to be in 5th, but Jekyll wouldn't be surprised to drop down outside the top 10 here. We've lost quite a bit of time on this lap to Blitz Hyper, finding himself 8 tenths back. I wonder if he's had to save a bit of battery, it's made a couple of mistakes. I heard it sliding around there through the chicane. And potentially now, TXT, Kelston, Speedy B have all cleared that Ferrari. Could they work together? Safety car deployed. Leon's in the barrier. We've seen him go off through that chicane twice already in this race. Finally, the walls have bitten back. Out of the race goes the leading Kick Sauber driver. Very disappointing result from the team. Aston Army down in 17th place, and now Leon out of the race. And that is exactly what Jekyll needed. He will now have brand new medium compound tyres. He'll come out the pit lane in, I reckon, 7th place, but he will be flying for a good 6 or 7 laps if he can hold on to the tyres at the end of the race. He has been brought right back into this one, but that penalty is going to be costly. Braden got in the pits, out the pits, stays in 7th. He's got no time penalties at all, brand new medium tyres. Could Braden, out of absolutely nowhere, be in with a shot of a podium here? I'd called him out of it when he got overtaken by Kelston, TXT, Speedy B. Now he's going to be right on their gearbox and faster. Oh, Jekyll has caught behind the safety car, so he's not even going to get the free pit stop because the whole train is going to be bunched up behind him. That was really unfortunate timing. Jekyll had gone past the pits, but he was still far enough back that the safety car got out in front of him. And if you look, he's yellow on the fuel, so he clearly went low on the fuel expecting this safety car. Now we'll follow him where he comes out of the pits. With the fact that the train's already here, I wouldn't be surprised if he's down in about 12th place behind the Mercedes. Got to be careful here, because if he goes past the safety car, he will get immediately either penalised or disqualified. So clearly you can see he took it easy. And we will follow where he comes out. Actually, let's follow him through the pit lane if we can find him again. Stops in the box, swapping onto medium tyres. Pit crew do their job well. And comes out 11th because Ice One has also pit onto a new set of mediums. So everybody, including myself, finally get a breather in what has been a crazy race. Let's have a look if we've got any reactions in the race chat to the first part of this. And Blue Dragon, it would appear, and I can't say this for sure, but appear came together with Keegan. So that'll be something to be reviewed by the stewards, but both of them have gone out of the race after that incident. Oh, the reason why Blue Dragon had such a poor start is wheel didn't connect properly. So he was in the AI, and that's why he ended up so far off to the side. Oh, Leon had rear wing damage. That is why he's ended up in the barrier multiple times in that race. I think after that first spin we saw him backwards in the wall, and that is he picked up rear wing damage, and as soon as you get any of that you are just done for. Rear end, you don't have any grip from it, and that'll be why he's ended up causing this safety car. So this should be our final lap of safety car. I think the back of the train has caught up now. Yep, Ashton Army is with the pack. So this will be the final lap behind Bernd Maylander. We'll pull up back the standings page so I can see what we're working with here. Roll up to the top. And we are ready. When they get round to start finish line, we'll be back up and racing. So Blitz Hyper, we're going to have to try and judge a restart here. I'm presuming, being in a lower tier, probably not got much experience. I'm not in a party, I don't know when that went. I apologise if I've just been deafening people in race chat. But Blitz Hyper, I led the safety car the other day and I went just coming down this short straight here, but it turns out I went too early. I actually got limited on the throttle and Lake O'Ryan's hit BT, or BT's hit him, and Ryan's picked up a 10-second penalty there. Potentially could get removed if we don't serve another pit stop. Blitz Hyper through the penultimate corner now, and down on the throttle away he goes in a big old slide of oversteer. Really not the ideal restart. Invictus has got a very good jump, and he's broken away from Kelston. But losing a bit of time with the dirty air in turn 1, I doubt he's going to be close enough, because Blitz being able to use his battery and holds on to the race lead for this first sector of the restart lap. Now I want to follow Dr. Braden, first driver on the medium tyres. We'll have a look at how quick his pace is. He needs to try and clear Speedy B, because Speedy B's already lost the DRS to the front four. We've seen how quick the front four have been in qualifying and in this race. We're seeing it once again here. Lake O'Ryan possibly with damage, because that train has lost 2.5 seconds to the leaders, and they're side by side into turn 9. One of the Red Bulls got off very deep. That was Ice One. He picked up a penalty as well, and he's dropped a few positions. Really not optimal there for the Red Bull driver. See, so Wolf's going to stick his nose to the inside. Can't make it happen. Further forward is a Ferrari diving on Speedy B. That was Dr. Braden. Used those medium tyres very well, incredibly late on the brakes. Somehow managed to get it stopped. Now Daniel tried to follow his teammate through but couldn't get it done. Braden immediately hunts down Kelston. And now this is where not having the track limits penalties could be absolutely huge, because this train should in theory remain intact for the rest of the race unless they battle like crazy. In which case Invictus, Braden, Speedy B and Daniel are in prime position to beat Hyper, TXT, Kelston, particularly TXT with the 6 seconds. Fortunately for him it broke behind P8, otherwise it could have been a lot worse. There's a third train formed there, Reese Max down, including B2. I wonder if he got some damage after the safety car incident with Ryan. And potentially Ryan got the same thing, because they both dropped off after this restart. Ryan picking up another penalty there, up to 6 seconds of track limit, 16 overall, and BT is into the gravel trap, and he's broken his front wing. I think that's probably already existing damage, but he's now well out of this. Potentially we could even see him retiring, because he is well off the back of the train, going to need to come in to fix that wing. TXT sets the fastest lap of the race. Surprised Braden didn't do it, given he got that overtake into turn 1. He'd been able to catch up with the DRS, but potentially this lap he's left himself a second's buffer. If he's got the pace, this is the lap to do it. BT does go and retire in the pits, and we've got a VSC Daniel and Speedy B have swapped places there. I wonder if Daniel went past as the VSC came out, and that's why Speedy B's been able to go back through. But they could potentially have lost the DRS train here, because that looks like quite a big gap in front of them. We've got a few separate trains forming. I think Kelson's just hanging back. Oh, and Jekyll's out. What's happened to Dr. Jekyll? He's too far back to be able to see. He had quite a lot of time penalties, but he was still looking fairly decent in this race. I think he was in the top 10 at that point. And immediately leaves. And Speedy B! No! He has got a drive-through penalty. He's avoided track limits this entire race, but it's the virtual safety car that claims its second victim. Speedy B will have to come through the pit lane. And that is pretty much race ruined for the person who sits third in the driver's standings and retires from the race. Devastating stuff from the Alpine team, who scores 0 points, having led the constructors coming into this one. Aston Martin, Haas and VCarb all looking to capitalise. And Aston Martin and Haas have 2 and 3 at the minute. VCarb 4 and 7. That is a very strong showing from VCarb, given how far down Wolf started. I believe he's up 10 positions here. But we are back to having a 5-way battle for the lead. Braden is currently on the fastest tyres, but hasn't had the pace of the top 4 in general in this race, and those tyres will drop off towards the end. But as long as he can pull away with them, he could lock in a top 5 finish, which would be very good for the driver, who, I don't even know if he's done a race this season. If he has, he's got less than 5 points from it. Now Invictus, technically all he needs to do is stay with Blitz Hyper and he'll pick up that winning position. However, I think he'll want to try and get it on the road just in case Hyper gets his penalty removed, or if Invictus was to pick up a last lap warning. So I still think we're going to see a battle for the lead here. 2 Red Bull swapping places at 9th and 10th. Ice One goes through as Ryan's coming to the pit lane, possibly for a wing change. Serving a 10-second penalty first. No, he's pit for fastest lap, potentially. Strange decision, but I'm not quite sure. As Punisher went wide there, I believe. Lost quite a lot of time. Braden picks up a penalty. That was the only way he was going to be able to take a podium in this race. And now that is off the cards. And he's lost the DRS. He's disconnected from the train. Could potentially fall into the clutches of Matteo and maybe even his teammate here. Meanwhile, TXT very close to the back of Invictus. TXT has a very good pace down the straights in this race, potentially on a lower downforce setup, but got the fastest lap currently, be it that will probably be taken by Ryan. And Reese Max into the wall. Could we see another safety car? And we do. Safety car back out on the track. And who does that benefit? Laco Ryan. Using the soft compound tyres, he will be very fast for a couple of laps here. And if you're Punisher, Ashton, even Ice One sitting in the bottom end of the top 10, surely it's worth a gamble on a new set of tyres. What's the tyre difference now? 12 laps and 7 laps. And a lot of drivers come into the pit lane. Braden in, Matteo in, Daniel, Wolf, Punisher. Everyone from P6, P5 downwards has boxed. Ashton does stay out trying to go for track position, but he's going to get swallowed up by the pack of soft tyre runners behind. And suddenly this race has turned on its head again. It's been a brilliant race so far. Chaos throughout, and the top 4, they kept it incredibly clean and incredibly fast, but now completely out of their control. They were past the pit lane commitment point when the safety car came out, and could be in quite the spot of bother here, because they have no option to pit. They're going to have to just defend like their life depends on it while racing each other. somehow I've got to pick a driver of the day out of this lot. If you've got any thoughts on that one, let me know in the chat. It'd be nice to hear your opinions on who's deserving of that award, but I really think progress made in these last few laps will really matter. Current position change, Aston Army's got a lot, but gonna lose some places on the hard tyres still. Braden is definitely up there, up 7, and Wolf up 8. We're going to want the penalty situation up for these final few laps. This will be the final lap of safety car for this safety car and for this race. I don't think one can come out after this, because I don't think it can come out on the... No, it can't come out on lap... Safety car will come in going on to lap 26, so it can't come out again on that lap. And then 27, 8 and 9, I believe it can't at all. So, should have green flag running to the end here. And Aston Army peels off to the side of the racetrack. Oh, because he's on the hard compound tyres, I wonder if he doesn't think he's going to be able to hold on to any positions. And he would rather just stay out of the firing line, not get fired off the road, and potentially pick up the pieces. Very kind gesture to allow the soft runners to not have to navigate the slower moving car. But might be a bit costly to him because he's got no penalty. Could have potentially been right up there in this race. The hard runners in front of him have got penalties, but we will have to wait and see. Blitz Hyper for the second time in this race will lead a safety car restart. Speedy B must be gutted. He left a matter of 5 laps ago. Now safety car comes out. He would have been right back into this one, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Blitz Hyper, will he wait until the car's in the corner again, or perhaps is he going to try and catch out Invictus, go slightly earlier? He won't be able to go any later. Potentially out of this corner here. Watch that throttle input in the bottom right. Decides he's going to wait. Exact same as last time. Hopefully a bit less wheel spin from his point of view. And waiting all the way through the final corner. In fact, does go later. Now he's on the throttle, but he's not got the jump he wanted. And Braden is already side by side with Matteo. I think they're both on the softs. Matteo backs out of it. Kelston's gone to the inside in front. He's off wide, bit of oversteer as well. Braden looks to the left hand side, down into turn 3. Oh, and he smashed into the back of Kelston. Did he pick up front wing damage there? That is crucial because he was in such a good position, and yes, he's missing an end plate. So for being in prime position to pick up probably second place in this race, it now falls to Matteo to clear the damaged Ferrari and then hunt down the top 4 in the remaining 4 laps of this Australian Grand Prix. Meanwhile, the front 3 separated by 0.2 of a second. They're almost side by side going into turn 9. They are going to be smart about it. Stay behind each other. And Daniel's cleared Matteo. They're still side by side going at it. Daniel will now be the one trying to pass his teammate. All the soft tyre runners have tripped over each other and potentially knocked themselves out of contention for a podium here. We are left with only 3 people that don't have a time penalty, Invictus, Punisher and Aston, and they will pick up many positions because of that. DRS is enabled. We've got 3 more laps of racing action in this Australian Grand Prix. Now Braden surely going to let his teammate go here. He's got front wing damage, and Daniel could be on for podium. No, they're going to fight it. Daniel all the way around the outside. Brilliant move. That is a beautiful overtake. Ferraris versus Ferrari. TXT's made a mistake. Drops down to 5th position. And perhaps came together with Blitz Hyper, who's lost the lead down to 2nd. Invictus goes through. And Daniel into 3rd position. The driver currently sits 5th in the driver's standings. He looked well out of it at one point in this race. Now finds himself on the podium. They're 3 wide into turn 9. Somehow they're going to back out of it, make it work. Braden lost quite a bit of time there. Could CSR Wolf go for a move. We're right on board with the V-Carb. No battery left. round the outside of turn, I believe that's turn 11. Can't get it done on the brakes. We'll look back to the front. Daniel finds himself in 4th, but if he can clear the car a lap, he will be 2nd place potentially in this race. It's an incredible recovery drive. Let's have a look at the position change. Well, we've still got a second up. 6 places. CSR Wolf up 10. These two have really had comeback drives. Nice one, picked up another 3-second penalties. First person remaining in the race to go on to 9 seconds. Obviously we saw someone else who is now out did that. Wolf picks one up as well and drops down to 11th place. There's been an incident there. Matteo's gone off as well. But we're focused in on this battle for the lead. Invictus pulled about half a second here. The Red Bulls have dropped out the DRS. And Braden goes off. Comes back on, somehow still in 6th place. But will we see Blitz Hyper or Kelston go for the lead down into turn 9? Kelston going to go for it with the battery. Down the inside. Somehow he's in 4th gear for a chicane that's normally his 7th. Ends up right out over the curb. It's TXT through. Daniel really not got quite as much pace as I thought he had on the soft tyres. Backs out of it, decides he just wants to survive. This is all going to kick off as we go on to lap 29 here with 5 cars, 6 cars all within DRS of each other. Bit of contact between Kelston and TXT, a little bit of a slide, potentially going to cost Kelston any chance of catching up with Invictus, but Invictus not having that penalty, probably got this one in the bag, can just keep it on the road in the right direction. Punisher goes past Ice One down in 8th position. Daniel now looks to the left hand side on Kelston, can't get it done, once again hits the back of the V-car into turn 3, that's how his teammate got the damage earlier. They're still going to be side by side, can't quite get the switch back, and that's really cost them about 0.8 of a second as someone's gone off in the background. Ice One is round. Matteo at some point retired from this race, did not catch that one. Blitz Hyper going to go for the lead of the race on the road, goes through. Wolf picks up another penalty. TXT going to try and follow through. Round the outside, sticks it on the Aston Martin Invictus. Well, I think he's just happy to concede here because he knows he's going to have it with the track limits penalties. Blitz Hyper leads them through into the final sector. Surely that's the end of any overtaking opportunities. TXT is right there. Looking to the inside, not going to be able to. So through the final corner, Blitz Hyper led the vast majority of this race, led both the safety car restarts. Going to just about bring it home over the line to win on the road, but Invictus is the winner. The championship leader keeping it clean. Comes home 3rd on the road, but not getting those track limits penalties. Absolutely crucial for the race. Wins it by 2.5 seconds. I think it was Blitz Hyper took home 2nd, and Kelston finds himself back on the podium here. Daniel, games driver of the day. I've got to see if I can make a decision out of that lot. So, Daniel did pick up a fastest lap point there using those soft tyres, but Invictus is your race winner. Blitz Hyper and Kelston 2nd and 3rd. Ferrari with a very strong recovery drive. Started 10th and 12th, finished 4th and 5th. Daniel ahead of Braden. TXT dropped to 6th because of that 6-second penalty. Finished 2nd on the road. But that is how important it can be, keeping it clean when safety cars are going to come out late in the race. Punisher picks up 7th. I mean, really not been mentioned at all this race. Ashton Army went for keep it out of trouble, and that he did. Ends up in 8th place. Very solid points, considering how far back he was before the safety car. Lake Orion ends up in 9th, just ahead of Wolf and Ice One rounding out the finishers, with Mateo retiring 2 laps from the end. And the other casualties all being vastly before that. Reeks Max, Speedy Reed, Jekyll, BT, Leon, Keegan and Blue Dragon all retiring from this race. Utter chaos, and somehow 1 and 2 from the grid, 1 and 2 in the race. But that does not do this race justice. We will now head over, see if we can get an interview with our race winner. We'll try and get Invictus in for an interview, but it might be difficult with him being on PlayStation. I've messaged him in the chat. But that was a brilliant race. Utterly thrilling from start to finish. Utter chaos from start to finish. I don't see us getting an interview, so I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for tuning in across all the tiers this week. I know tier 3 and 4 didn't quite go to plan, didn't manage to get the race going due to EA server problems, but oh, Invictus is typing. Let's just wait a second. But yeah, thank you for your support. Every week the views are incredible. Invictus can't make the interview. So, thank you for the support, and we will see you next week. Tier 6 will open up the mystery round week on Tuesdays at 8 PM. Possibly I'll be back in the commentary booth for that one. Then tune in for Tier 1, Best of the Best, and Tier 2 on Wednesday at 8 PM. Then you got 3 and 4 on a Thursday, and this time next week, the final Mystery Grand Prix, back here with Tier 5. Championship battles heating up in both the drivers and the constructors. And as you've seen today, every race will be a lottery of pace and luck. So, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.